And we are live.
Hello, welcome to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 535. I'm Otto. Tonight I'm joined with Jared
What's up, everybody?
and the Noticing Caucus chairman.
Fastest growing caucus in the LP.
I think in the world, if you ask
In
me.
the world.
Yeah.
Huge
Like,
caucus.
it's not limited to the LP, I guess, anymore.
No, it's beyond.
Has it doubled from 1 to 2?
Oh, more than that. There's
Yeah,
it's
a little bit more.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah,
about,
members all over the
about 6 million.
all over the flat
All
Earth.
over the flat earth. There you go. Well,
I'm
I
not
was
sure
going to say,
about
make
that
sure you get it
number.
right.
Yep.
And
Are you sure
that
about
lovely
that
voice
number?
you listen to, that's James Babb, the homegrown crypto hootie.
So good to be here.
Homegrown. Oh, those are the worst kind, right?
He's not that lab grown shit.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
All
lab grown was
natural.
pretty bad. So.
All natural fertilizer coming
au
out of it.
natural.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have a lot to talk about. We missed last week. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we got to
Um,
just it's a long list of insanity out there. We got to jump
Yeah,
right
the
in.
insanity grows. Kind of like my collection of boats I have in the back. Just keeps growing for no reason.
Well, why don't we start off with Bab's favorite topic, which is the National Park Service.
Let's go.
Do we have
So,
a video? I
Let
forget.
me pull
What-
up this video. This is
national parks. Okay. Ah, yes,
BRB.
yes.
This is the Death Valley National Park. Your favorite parks, favorite rangers want you to learn about the extremes of Death Valley. So let's learn about it.
Okay, let's see how this
driest and lowest national park. Instead, we should play HOTDRY-LOW. This park is so hot, dry low. HOTDRY-LOW. This park is so hot, dry low.
Spare.
I hope
Okay.
they play.
All right, sorry, listeners. I forgot how bad that actually was.
That was
But
cringe.
some people questioned me when I said that the National Park Service is the worst government agency, but I feel like this confirms. And I think this should go to the top of the Doge list if such a thing were real.
What
Yeah,
song even is that? Is that that's a song, right? Like some pop song?
I
Some
have no
annoying
idea.
pop. Yeah, some annoying pop song.
That kind
Yeah.
of thing comes on, and I get psychosomatic deafness just as a defense mechanism. Like I can no longer hear it.
Right. Brandon, facts. I'm not drunk enough for this.
Yeah.
That's-
The comments aren't very supportive either on this.
Now that was the national parks. Don't we have something about the is that a state park, Baz? We were talking about before we went live here.
Oh well, there's a problem with Seattle parks
No,
now.
no,
I
this
think
is,
we
so
oughta-
this is the
let's just-
state or
We'll
city
pull up
or
that article, and it was
Yeah.
just the headline caught my eye for some reason,
Hmm.
and it seemed hard to believe. Otto's got a whole flotilla over there.
It just showed up on my front porch.
Yeah, are you going to help the Gazans escape to Egypt?
Oh no!
I just added it to the pile. So there we go.
So yeah, read this headline for
Okay,
everybody.
Seattle sued over nude park as city considered public masturbation deterrent infrastructure. They're spending $500,000 on public masturbation deterrent infrastructure. Okay, that like, I mean, how many homeless people do they have in Seattle? Right, like
huh? Yeah.
they might be all in the park masturbating, and that's the problem. I'm not sure, but
I mean, who hasn't rubbed one out in on the park before?
Is
What
it
if it's
wait?
like a
hold on.
woman only
But
problem?
I'm trying to
What if it's like women
understand this
just cooking
headline.
beans?
Is the park actually a nude park?
I think. Well, I think there is a nude park.
Okay.
And then that just like, I don't know, I guess it gets people aroused. I'm
So
not sure.
let's-
Okay,
Let's
so
get in
here,
the doctor.
Seattle neighbors who live near a park favored by LGBT nudists are suing the city over a rash of sex perverts who are allegedly driving to the park in order to publicly masturbate.
No kink shaming, okay?
Can't they
It's
just
gotten
go to
so
the-
bad that the city of Seattle is seeking requests for proposed RFPs with initial consideration to build public masturbation deterrent infrastructure.
Why can't these guys just do it in the public library like the other homeless people?
Yeah.
Now, what are these
phone booths? Do they still have those?
What deterrents? What are we talking here?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm curious what
idea.
the deterrent is.
I'm not sure what they're doing, but I thought I might apply for. I think they want grant. I think they're they're soliciting bids, or
Yeah.
So
do you have
what
any
I'm-
ideas?
What do you think about this? Okay, like
Yeah.
people are getting a little too aroused over there. So I'm thinking for far less than 500,000, I could put up giant billboards of Whoopi Goldberg's face.
Right.
Oh,
Right, and just suddenly nobody's in the mood anymore.
Wait,
Right.
Whoopi on the Enterprise or Whoopi now?
Does it matter?
To Otto,
Some people
it
have
does.
different kinks there, James. Let's not. Some people might have some type of weird kinks you don't know about.
I think she would have a anti-arousing function from any time period, but I think more recent is the most horrible. So,
I still don't see them getting into the details here about what kind of
It
deterrence.
says, according to the city document, it asked for plans to build public masturbation deterrent infrastructure. It's unclear what that means. The
but
total
they got
project budget
$500,000 ready to be spent on it. So,
I mean, we got to put our heads together and come up with
let's
something, man.
put a bid in on
And write up an RFP.
Yeah. For 499,000.
Yeah. Shit,
we can just-
I'll do it for half.
But it'll have to be an ongoing thing where they'll have to pay us a couple 100,000 more each year just to
Right.
maintain.
We need more pictures of Whoopi, right? Like, we got to get that fabricated. We got to get shipped out there. We got to update it as she ages.
Look,
Are we going to create a peer? Are we going to create like a different tier on our Patreon for this? Get Whoopi to Seattle.
Well,
I don't know.
That's what the Parks Department is for.
Well, you could
pay
get.
us.
I don't know.
No. We could always play in a continuous loop. Like we'll get her to do one of those cameos. We'll pay that, and then we'll just find some way to put it on a continuous loop throughout the park.
The neighbors will come back and say, like, please give us the public masturbation back. Okay. Like, this is now, according to this, look, there's so much public masturbation that it's preventing fire trucks and ambulances from reaching neighborhood homes. Oh my goodness.
What?
They just like lined
what
up in
it
the
says.
street, just like. Where does it say
What
that?
is going on?
This park is out
Oh,
of
here we
control.
go. It is now a regional venue for criminal and uncivil behavior that includes public masturbation, public sex, and other types of indecent exposure, drug use, unlawful public nudity, environmental damage to the shoreline,
Whoa.
and scufflaw.
What?
What's scufflaw parking?
Are you blowing that many loads that it's like clogging
What
up
is,
the beaches?
have you ever seen this word, scufflaw?
Scofflaw. Somebody who
Scofflaw.
ignores the law.
We should-
Oh,
why aren't we like
So-
the
Yeah, aren't we the scofflaw podcast?
podcast? Yeah, there you go.
Now that I'm reading that, I'm thinking like, what? Seattle sounds pretty lit. Like
Yeah.
environmental damage, public nudity, like drug use.
Parking that prevents fire trucks and ambulances from reaching neighborhood homes.
No wonder they're willing to spend $500,000.
Right.
Well, I wish them
Is it preventing the police from going to the homes, though? That's the question. Might be a good thing.
Well, there
Wow.
you go. Clown
Well,
world.
I'm sure $500,000 will solve all of these
Where's my
problems.
soundboard at? Fuck.
Yeah, where's soundboard? This is a
Fuck
perfect
is my soundboard.
But still no discussion on the deterrence.
Well, they want you to come up with ideas.
Yeah, they don't know. They can't figure it out, but they're just willing to
Ah.
throw money at it.
Yeah. They're like, well, 500K seems reasonable.
That sounds like a good number. At least speaking of parks, and we lost Otto. Uh-oh.
I think he had to go feed his kid or something. He'll be back.
Yeah. Speaking of parks, I posted in the private chat, Jared, since we're on the topic, and it was kind of the Maryland State Parks just announced, I guess it was Wednesday, today's being Thursday. I think it was Wednesday they announced. Maybe we could pull up the article and it'll say exactly when. But they're requiring reservations at all state parks now because they're so overcrowded, especially during the summer and holidays. So about 2 weeks before Memorial Day weekend. They said, "Well, no, you got to get online. You got to make a reservation."
So you can go sit at one of those like decrepit picnic tables and look at
Yeah.
trash in the fire pit.
Yeah, maybe one of those grills actually is not all rusted out. And
Wait, this
you
is
could
national
actually-
parks or state parks?
State parks. I put it yeah, here. It's right there in the private chat.
Oh,
This was
What are
Yeah,
the
so-
activities that you have to register for?
yeah, an RSVP required at select parks in Maryland or Maryland State Parks this summer. What you need to know about
What?
the new day passes. Yes, so they just announced this yesterday, Wednesday.
Greenbrier State Park and Sandy Point State Park.
Oh, that's because
So
all
pretty
the
much
white
the-
trash goes to Sandy Point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like white trash having.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, for those that are outside of the area, so Sandy Point's on the Chesapeake Bay, so it has a beach, and Greenbrier has a big lake and has a beach. So it's a little, yeah. I mean, people literally like camp out the night before, or basically wait in line. So now you have to RSVP. So starting
Shut
May
it down.
19th.
Shut it
Yeah,
down.
exactly. It's got it's like I was thinking about a way to convey other than abolish.
But you don't have to
state
pay,
parks,
right? You just have to. Oh,
just
you do have to pay.
RSVP. Well, yeah, because most of those parks, I mean,
You have
hell,
to pay
like
to
you
get
just
into it
go in.
anyways.
Yeah, because those they typically have. I can't speak for. I think Greenbrier they have like an actual park ranger there, unlike other parks where it's like.
See, but it's going to take an entire staff now to create the reservation system,
Mhm.
to check it, and then to have somebody stand there and check your reservation of everybody that comes in. This is going to be
Right.
like 3 full-time jobs now, instead of just letting people drive in and be like, "Oh, it's too crowded. I guess I'll come back later." Like
Yeah.
nobody cares that it's crowded, right?
And they're
Like,
they're saying that's 2 parks right now. Last part later this in the summer, the system will expand. The system will
it
expand.
always expands.
It will
Like,
expand
this
to
is going to be a whole department before you know it. It'll be like
Right.
dozens and dozens of people.
State, yes. So it's going to include Point Lookout, Newtown Neck, North Point State Parks. The launch dates will be announced in the coming weeks. So
I mean, they don't have this problem at like Ocean City. You know, it's like if you go to the beach and it's crowded, you just say, "Well, fuck this. I'm going to the bar." You know?
right,
These things are easily
Like you're not
self-regulating.
reserving a spot on the beach.
yeah. And I guess, yeah,
They've done
people.
something stupid like this at Acadia National Park, where there's a drive where you can drive up Cadillac Mountain,
Yeah.
and it's just been one of the features of the island for decades and decades, generations. It's the end of the day, like, oh, it's a pretty sunset. Let's just drive up, watch the sunset. Super fun place. But they decided, well, it's too crowded sometimes. So they put a checkpoint in. And they have this ugly thing now, and you have to go online in advance and pay $6. And they've got a staff of like 6 people. They had to put in a portable office building, I guess, so they could take breaks, an external sewage tank so they can have a place to go to the bathroom, get orange cones, cop cars all over the place, and they're like, okay, now, and then
Enjoy the view.
they've literally reduced access to the top of the mountain by like 50%.
Oh man, they didn't have that when I went up there. That was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm glad I made it before that shit.
So
yeah.
I only hike up now, pretty
Mm.
much. So,
Yeah.
but it's just stupid. The whole thing is just there to make jobs for people, get in people's faces. It's aesthetically horrible.
Yeah.
But yet people tolerate it, and they're like, well, it was crowded, so
I don't remember even being that crowded. Like
certain times of day it would be
certain
crowded.
time, yeah, but you could
Nobody
just kind of
cared.
like what it was like a big. If I recall, it's like a big open area. You kind of like
Yeah.
hike away from people and go to
mean,
the edge of
yeah,
the mountain and look over.
Sometimes parking would be tough, and you'd have to wait 5 minutes for somebody to leave. No
Right.
big deal, but like 4th of July but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
national park, like that's only visited in the summer. It's going to be busy in the summer. Nobody cares.
Right.
But
Stupid.
anyway, sorry for those Maryland people. Hopefully there's something else to do for these holidays or
Yeah, I wonder.
Could
I
have went
wonder what
City
parks
Park
they're
and
gonna
launch
roll
off
this out to.
fireworks. Go to a city park. Go to a
They
town
had to
park.
try turning one of these Maryland parks into a nude beach, and then they could.
And then figure out a way to.
I mean, I feel like Sandy Point might be a good candidate for that.
I mean, I avoid a lot of these places like the plague because it's just insane. One of our buddies here in Maryland lives. His parents have like, or not his parents, I guess. Yeah, the family member has like it's in Bowley's Quarters, which is on the Chesapeake Bay, and right next to it is a state park. And there's a lineup, like any major holiday, 4th of July, Memorial Day. There's just a lineup of people just waiting to get in. And I mean, it's just so crowded. It's like, what's the point? Like, I don't know. I would just avoid those places on any holiday weekend. Just try to avoid.
Yeah,
the
just
masses.
stay inside on holiday weekends, dude.
Yeah.
Go down.
Yeah, don't drive anywhere.
I don't go
Buy
anywhere.
your
I don't do
booze in
anything.
advance.
Don't go anywhere.
I
Yeah.
celebrate all the holidays like 3 days later. That's the key to life right there. Valentine's Day, that's like 3 or 4 days later.
How
And
much
then
do
just
you
be
pay
Jewish, and then you don't have to celebrate half the shit.
I was gonna say, how much do you pay for roses like on February 17th?
Exactly, dude. Crazy cheap.
But yeah, this failure of the commons, right, Babs? This is
Make people fight over it, right?
Yep. If it was a private park,
Private park, you could try different things, right? You could have
Yeah.
maybe have this system, but maybe you implement it in a way that's adapts to what people actually want. And
Right. There's
don't
plenty of private parks out there. You guys are familiar with Hawk Mountain, right, in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
This
No.
is it's virtually trash free. I don't know if you might find one piece of trash if you really look. Completely private, founded over 100 years ago during the Great Depression. I guess that's about 100 years ago. Completely privately funded. Used to be a place to hunt hawks. Now it's a place to go observe hawks on their migration. It's as good as any state park. Absolutely pristine. You spend like $5 to do the hike if you're not a member. There's a whole huge group of volunteers that support it.
Nice.
Educational program. Like there's no people love that stuff. You don't have to get tax victims involved.
No, don't they have like a big like observatory, and they have a whole like it's been I went there like years ago, probably when I was in like Boy Scouts or heck maybe even like on a field trip or something. But yeah, I didn't know it was completely private. That's awesome.
I don't even know. I mean, for all I know, they've got a grant somewhere along the way, but virtually nothing as far as I know. And they do a great job with it. Like, and they don't have to make a big deal about it. That like voters don't have to vote on it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a really nice place to go for a hike and observe nature.
Yeah, I got I didn't really get a chance to really look into it, but I mean the comment sections on the Maryland state parks making
we need to
reservations.
privatize the park shirt.
Yeah.
I think we should just start our own little t-shirt store. Privatize the parks.
Well, and think of the improvements you could make, right? Is there any reason there's not like a tiki bar at every park?
Yes,
Right.
exactly,
Right?
dude. Like when you get off
Seriously.
like at the trailhead, right when you get
Yeah.
back. Oh man, would
Why
that be
isn't
great?
there like a little beer stand there? You know?
Yeah.
Or like guys like beer vendors like at the ballpark, but they're just like along the trail, like
Yeah.
just
beer
open
here,
it up.
beer here.
Every mile, every other mile.
Dude, I'm gonna create this someday.
Make the parks great again. Privatize them.
Like enough of these like fucking speakeasies that they're putting everywhere. Like let's put beer guys on the trail.
Speakeasies
That's-
in nature.
I mean, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be like all over the trail, but I think like
Yeah.
near the trailhead, so when people are done, they might enjoy a refreshing beverage, and why not?
Or just like, you ever go to a nice golf course and they have like cart girls that drive around?
No, that does sound pretty good though. They just
Yeah.
bring drinks out to you on the green.
Yep. And so you have that, but in the woods, right? Like it's some like hot chick on a bike and she's just like driving along the trail like, hey, you want a beer? That'd be amazing.
I did hear about a brewery in Wisconsin that would do drone deliveries to people ice fishing. You'd give
Wow.
your coordinates and it would like fly the beer out to you. But I think like the government shut it down or something. They're like, whoa, We're gonna have to shoot you down. Like
That sounds like fun. We got to
Yeah,
stop
too
that.
much
yeah,
fun
like
out there
whoa,
ice
that's
fishing.
a little too boisterous there. I mean, what happens if you're out on the ice and I don't know, suddenly someone else needs to fly there? Like I don't know.
Oh man.
Can't have
Well-
anything nice.
Maparks. Do we have any more Mapark stories?
I think that's that's it.
So I guess we're gonna have to come up with masturbation deterrents at the.
All right, yeah, everybody.
Masturbation deterrent infrastructure, $500,000 up for grabs.
Yeah, just
And it'll be like a real service to the community if you come up with something good. They seem to be having a real problem.
Yeah, if you guys want to, send us a message on Patreon or you want to post a comment with some ideas, like we're all ears.
What if we made it like where you do those models where they have like these safe places for drug users? You know what I mean?
like those safe injection sites, or
Yeah,
Like a safe injection site.
or like a methadone clinic, but it's just like a masturbation clinic.
But it's just
go
so
in.
people can come and like observe this gay nude beach and then have a little like private area and they can just do whatever they want to. And then it doesn't
Like a
involve
peep
the
show.
neighbors.
Like a peep
Right.
gallery.
I think the trick is like the neighbors don't like what's going on.
They need to buy up the park if it's a state park. Put in the funds, chip in, do a
Stop voting.
what do you call that? Like a land preservation, where you put it in a land trust.
Land back.
Yeah, something.
Land
Yeah.
recognition.
Anyway,
What was the land recognition thing that you shared? Remember that? It was in the chat.
oh, that was Canada. That was about that was the Canadian cop, and it was a press conference. You pulling it up, Jared?
I
It
don't.
was
think
pretty funny.
It's not on the list here.
No, it's not. I think it's still in the chat, but no, it was hilarious. It was just one of those. I think it was End Wokeness or one of those
Yeah.
one of those pages, and this cop is giving a briefing and somewhere in Canada, and they had to, during this press opening statements of this press conference, had to acknowledge that this land is the territorial land of blah blah blah, and like had to, instead of like let's who, what, when, where, why, man, what's going on here, this press briefing is about a missing child or something, or an investigation, and they had to get into the indigenous people used to own this land. It's like, wow, okay, acknowledging but anyway, what else we got, guys? Where else can we jump off here?
Wait, Otto's
Oh,
back.
he's
So
back.
maybe
He's
we
back.
can talk about
That reminds me.
Pope.
That reminds me.
Pope.
Apparently, like if you go to Mount Vernon, my buddy told me that he went down there and like you can't say the word slave. You can only say enslaved person.
Like Mount Vernon,
Where?
like the real
Like
Mount Vernon, or
Mount
Yeah.
okay,
Mount
Yeah,
Vernon,
you're
as
allowed-
in
yeah.
Washington's plantation.
yeah.
And that's the only tour that's free is the one about slavery. Everything else you got to pay for.
Hi, it's been.
Yeah, I
a
remember
while.
there was a black lady on my tour of Monticello, which is Thomas
Oh, yeah.
Jefferson's plantation, and she was like asking like all kinds of questions. She was like really going at him about the slaves.
The slave raping, particularly.
righteously, I would add, because they kind of glossed over that on the tour. But
Yeah, what about the slave raping? Was that over here or was that over there? Like,
Yeah, we're
I mean, Monticello is pretty dope, but yeah, not
where'd Otto go? He's just in and out.
I don't know.
I'm
man.
still
We got to talk.
I wanted to talk
We got to
about
talk
the
to
Pope.
Pope. Yeah,
Your
this is
boy.
Otto's territory.
can you
What about
are
it?
you able to show that screenshot that I was able to capture with this rumor about the new pope? That I feel like we could get some verification.
So it was announced. Here's
Oh,
this-
no, I don't have that screenshot.
Let me see if I can.
But he's allegedly a trombonist, reformer trombonist, tromboner.
I think this is really scaring people. So,
Really scaring people.
I mean,
You seem to be very upset about it.
I don't know. But you guys tried to verify it. We couldn't find confirmation. But
Yeah, I couldn't really find anything. But
Yeah, it didn't look real, but
let
yeah,
me
I
see
mean,
if
I don't
can-
trust any pictures of anything anymore.
Well, I
so.
can just read what it said. It's Vatican City, May 8th, before ascending to the papacy, as Pope Leo,
Papacy.
papacy, As Pope Leo 14,
14.
Robert Francis
Nice Roman numeral reading.
Prevost led a surprising double life. Acclaimed theologian by day and celebrated jazz trombonist by night, known in Chicago's music circles as Bobby Prev.
I feel like this is just a Ron Swanson thing.
In the 70s and 80s with his signature mellow tone and soulful improvisations.
I feel like it's just like a Ron Silver or whatever his alter ego character was.
Yeah, this is sounds
Well, this says though he laid down the horn to follow his priestly calling, insiders say he still keeps a trombone in his Vatican apartment.
I don't believe it.
There's a picture of him that's definitely not AI playing the trombone. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, that definitely can't be AI.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just go with that.
All right.
What else do we know?
Maybe you can get him up in your klezmer band.
Yeah, it could have been. Somebody else was talking about
Otto's got the deets.
Being in a child trafficking situation. I don't know.
Yeah, he it's not my pick for Pope. Let's say that. He
What?
wasn't in my top 5. He was in my bottom 5 because he's a progressive liberal from Chicago. He
First American Pope.
Yeah, first American Pope. So, but
Dude,
he
he's
also
from
has
Alex's
Peru.
hometown. He went to Villanova.
Well, yeah, well.
Did you see Pope John? Pope John?
Pope John.
John.
Pope John the First.
John.
Dude, speaking of it, I sent you that fun. I don't know if you saw it, Alex, on Instagram. I sent you that the thing.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch it. I think I started watching it, but
it was so funny. They were like, so pretty much the gist of the video is they're like, yeah, the way people speak in Philadelphia right now is the same way that they used to talk back in the 1700s, and it just goes from like, yeah, look at this dickhead over here in this John, like just. Just doing I can't do it. I also sent Alex, there's this like beekeeper that I watch on or he's like a bee exterminator or whatever, and he's
the opposite of a beekeeper.
Whatever.
He's like an exterminator.
He kills the bees.
Well, he keeps some bees. He just doesn't like the hornets and stuff like that.
Like wasps.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
he exterminates them.
Insects.
And he like feeds them to like his emus and squirrels and stuff he has. But he's got the worst Philadelphia, I don't even worst Pennsylvania accent I've ever heard. He's just like he's got so many larvae and pupae on up here on the comb. I'm like, oh wow,
Shrimps. Does he say shrimps?
Probably. I don't know. So he
well, now
it just
tell
reminded
us,
me of that, so I sent those to Alex.
Can you let us know how is the Pope selected? We're like, what's going? Are they voting on this thing?
They voted. Yeah, the Cardinals voted. The Cardinals, pretty much anyone in a Cardinal who's not over the age of 80 was eligible to vote. They met, and it was only
you don't get to
24
vote
hours
if
of voting.
You don't get to vote if you're over 80.
Yeah, you don't get to vote. You're not eligible either.
But but only Cardinals, right?
Yeah, only the Cardinals. Yeah.
All the Cardinals that are under 80?
Well, it's but correct me if I'm wrong, Otto, but theoretically speaking, they can select anybody, right?
Mm-hmm. Any Catholic of good standing in the church. So we could have had Harrison Butker. We could have had Mel Gibson.
Are they in good standing?
Oh yeah, they're good standing in my book.
Well, wasn't there? I heard Trump shared an image of himself. As
Oh, they lost their mind.
That probably influenced their vote because they're all the leftists that Francis put in there around him, the last pope. They all pretty much want. I feel like there's a contingency within the left circles of the Catholic Church where Francis couldn't connect his, the whole open borders thing, blah blah blah. Like he could effectively touch the Catholic base because he was from South America and he wasn't an American. So now, after what Trump did when he posted that stupid picture of him as the Pope, now they have an American who can now actively attack Trump as an American and try to get Catholics guilted into voting.
Maybe this was the negotiation. I'm going to just throw this out there as a wild theory. Okay, behind the scenes, Trump's like, if you cross me, I'll be Pope. Okay. And they're like, no, please don't make it. No. And they're like, okay, well, let's negotiate. We're going to have an American-made Pope. None of these foreign popes anymore. Like, just like movies are going to be made here, popes are going to be made here. We're going to bring back those drudgery factory jobs. Like this is part of his.
But he's also Peruvian, right? Is he just Peruvian by like heritage, or did he immigrate from Peru?
No, he became a dual citizen. He was born in Chicago, and he
his
became
ancestors
a dual citizen of
plundered Peru. I think is probably more like it.
Could be.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, it's so he became Pope. He's young as shit. So he's probably 20 years of just continuing what Francis did. Probably
Wait,
even
young as
make it
shit.
more
Isn't he like
political.
70 something?
No, he was born in 55. So yeah, he's like 70. He's 69 right now, but he'll be 70 soon.
I mean, I guess
Right.
I guess that's young as shit for a pope, right?
Yeah.
Do people know the key issue yet? Like, does he support the ethnic cleansing in Gaza? Like, I mean,
Well, there was a cardinal. His name was, everyone probably knows him because of his name is Pizzaballa. He's an Italian.
Yeah.
But he became the cardinal of the Israel-Palestine area. And he actually went during when this whole thing popped off and all the hostages were being taken, he offered himself, instead of them taking Palestinian children, he offered himself to be a hostage for to the Jewish state. So he was he's very much pro-Palestinian. He was on their side. He was kind of like a wild card. He wasn't like one of the conservative ones, but he also wasn't one of the liberal ones. He was who I wanted. I
thought the former Pope was like in contact with Gazans like every day, according to what they wrote. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
or not.
there was, but Pizzaballa was more involved because he was on the ground there. Yeah, so he would have been great. He would have been a great Pope.
Cousin of Pizzaboli.
Yeah.
Is it true what I heard about the Pope Mobile is gonna, like, the Pope wanted it donated to become like a Gazan relief vehicle?
I think so. I think I heard that too. I don't know how true that is, but
can you just
sounds
see like them
something
like
Francis
delivering
would do.
aid in the Pope Mobile? I mean, it's probably bulletproof. That's what you need to deliver aid there.
Right. It's just, and I don't know if this Pope's gonna be. I don't know. It's like, not that I need him to or anything like that. It's just this focus is just gonna be about.
I'm just
wondering
wondering
about immigration.
I'm just assuming Mossad has files on all the cardinals too, right? It's not like they just only like buy off U.S. congressmen, right?
Well, Francis he put all these leftist cardinals around him, so he gets to choose that. He gets to choose who the next cardinals are going to be. So it's like you put these leftists in, and they're just going to be political. And there's been a strong conversion to Catholicism in the past 5 years, and it's the complete antithesis of this. Like, this isn't. The people are converting not for a guy like this, not for progressive liberals in the church. They're converting to be more of a conservative, more ancient, more traditional. And now the church is putting it in someone who's going to be against tradition and against all of this. So it's like, it's all just political. It's just, I don't know. I'm still I'm not.
It's not like the church has made questionable political choices in the past.
Well, and that's another thing too. So I will say this about him. When he was in Chicago, there was this child rapist priest that he moved. He didn't excommunicate him, didn't throw him out, didn't do anything. He just moved him to a new home, and he moved them to this home, which was directly attached to a Catholic school. Little kids, and he didn't tell anybody that he was moving in. He didn't tell any of the students, the teachers, parents, the archdiocese. He didn't tell any of them that he was moving in a sex predator.
Was he convicted in a court, or just accused and settled, or what?
It was reputable. It was reputable claims. That's kind of what they go off of. If it's reputable, then that's when the church will pay out, and they'll. But
he was aware. He was aware that the guy was a pedo.
Yeah, he was aware. Yeah, because he'd already been removed from his duty as a priest, but he moved him there.
Would he say like, no, I think he was innocent, and I'm not going with that? Or
I don't know. All I know is just like the church hasn't meaningfully addressed the sexual abuse scandal, and it should be as simple as just writing with a pen saying every single one of these priests who has been who's admitted to it, has been found guilty in the court of law, has a credible a claim against them, they just need to be excommunicated. Like they just need to be excommunicated and say, we're done with you.
Shouldn't they be prosecuted?
Yeah. Like they absolutely.
I mean, if
and
they've
it's
got
just
evidence
like they
of these kind of crimes, like it shouldn't be a matter of like what job he's going to get next. It should be a matter of like when's he going to jail.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's like they should be kicked out of the church and from all their positions of anything. Like it should just be as simple as that. And the church really hasn't done anything to acknowledge that. And until you do, it's just
They haven't excommunicated any of these dudes?
not to my knowledge. No.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, they can repent and be sorry. That's cool, but they also shouldn't be a part of the church. They can do that outside the church.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's like
They could be private school. They could be private system school teachers. You know, like they could. I mean,
go to government school.
teachers.
Government schools,
Yeah.
they love hiring child predators. So go
Yeah.
there. Dude, and it's just, it sucks. It's just the whole thing. I don't know how I feel. Like,
So who are you betting on? Because apparently no one saw this coming, according
Well,
to...
I wasn't betting. It's a sin to bet on the Pope. So
Is it really?
I really want Cardinal Sarah from Africa was a big defender of the faith. He's 79. He's from sub-Saharan Africa. I forget what country he's from, and he's just great. He's one of the best. Like just when it comes to defending the faith and just being based in traditional, and also Pizza Bala. Those are the top two that I wanted. So it just sucks.
Yeah, Polymarket
I don't
didn't
know.
even have this. That was the thing, dude. They were like,
What
this
did
whole
Polymarket say?
Yeah, he was nowhere on the list. Parolin was.
I
the
mean,
favorite,
according...
was the
So
heavy favorite.
Cauchy, which I've never heard of, gave them a 1% chance. Is this another
Yeah.
betting site, I guess? Yeah.
I think so.
It is. I just opened another tab. One prophetic propositioner pocketed $52,641 off of a $525 papal prediction. I
I think we need to see who that person is and just see if they happen to be a member of Mossad. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how do they can't really protect against insider trading with this shit, right? It could actually be a cardinal.
right.
Well, it's a
No,
great
they
thing to
took
do
they
that.
took a vow of secrecy before this.
I mean, yeah,
before
it's
they
also a
cast their
sin to like
ballots,
touch
and
little
they
boys,
burnt them.
Otto.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sins that are
Yeah. Well,
Well,
violated.
none of the cardinals that are there have any claims against them doing stuff like that.
But I mean, wouldn't it be a sin to like conceal it too? You know?
Or
like-
just having a pope?
Yeah,
period.
of
Maybe
course
there
it
should
is.
be
I
a
think it
pope.
is, absolutely.
Look, the
Maybe they're
Pope's
just-
infallible, okay? So just shut up about it. All right.
Yeah.
That's not
I
what
thought-
it means.
If he's going to hide child molesters, then that's
was,
that's God's
that's
will.
the will of
and that's
God.
just
That's
the way it
not
works.
what that
This is-
means,
This
James.
was a pretty based quote. Saint Paisios was a monk that lived on Mount Athos, so that's like a Orthodox area of Greece, which is just
Saint
just
Pais.
monasteries. But there was a Roman Catholic monk who visited St. Paisios during the 1978 papal conclave. The monk asked him to pray that they will elect a good pope. St. Paisios patted the monk on the back and said, "Don't worry, I'm sure whoever they choose will be infallible." Based. Because it's like you're
all the
electing...
Ortho bros are like dunking on everyone, the whole situation. Like
Dude, it's
a lot of Orthodox really make that their personality. It's just like I'm against. I'm
Catholicism.
just against Catholics, so it's like, okay, all right.
I feel like
Point.
Or against Jews, or
I
Well,
feel like
that
I'm
too.
an equal opportunity.
They're part of the noticing caucus.
Yeah,
I thought that was
It's
just
just-
Mossad
man.
agents.
it's like I don't need the Pope. Like I just need him not to. I just need him not to change the catechism anymore. It just
It's
Because,
kind
like,
of
it's
the LP chair in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like you hope they're not going to like steer the party like deeper
It's-
down in the wrong direction, but they always do.
well,
Therein
There
lies
was
the
a-
problem.
You know,
One
you
person.
hope they won't,
Next
aid
thing
in
you
a
know,
genocide like,
Yeah.
the Nazis or the Israelis or...
child trafficking or something's going down.
Yeah.
It's just annoying. But I mean, like Pope Benedict said, he had a good quote. I can't find it anywhere now, but it was essentially like, you don't need the Pope. Like, you don't need the Pope, like, to be like I wish I could hold on. Let's see if I could find it. But it actually kind of just like put everything the Pope
really
is not
needed
the
the
center
Pope.
of the church, but Christ. The Pope is the servant of God, meant to point all to him. Like that's the role. And instead it's now like, oh, he's also political. Like, so let's get a political Pope who's gonna confuse things that you're gonna have to be like, huh? Like, what did he mean when he said that? And then he has to clarify what he said.
But I mean, hasn't it
sounded pretty
but
heretical and
hasn't it been political from the get-go? I mean,
alliances between the Pope and kings and
yeah, I mean, this has been going on since like
it's
the advent of the Pope.
baked into the cake from day one.
meh.
Yeah.
Like
Not-
the whole
not
idea is
necess-
like, oh, I can be king if I get the Pope's endorsement, and then
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, Pope, endorse me. Okay, great. Well, then will you make sure that like other religions get squashed by your army? No problem. Like,
well, that's the whole reason why the Western civilization's been preserved for all these years. But I guess you can spit at that too if you want.
frozen in.
But anywho,
amber.
but yeah, so it's a separate thing, and now it's not like, oh, he's being political in a sense where they have like political power, and it's just they have more like, it's now like political sway. It's like now they use it as like it's like not a, it's almost like a tool. It's different. It's not like direct control. They don't have direct control over other nations like they used to, like popes back in the
So it's improved a
you're
little, a little bit.
So now I wouldn't say that, but now it's just like, oh, let's get the Pope, let's get a clip from the Pope saying this, and then we can just sling that at Catholics and be like, see, your Pope says this, don't you think he's infallible, right? You have to agree with everything he says, which you don't. And it's like, that's all that is. That's all that was, and it just sucks. So I'm kind of
I think it's just the same thing on Instagram this time.
Right.
Like, same deal, just
I don't know.
Manipulating,
propping
Power.
up political agendas,
wielding power. Now it's soft power, but it's
It was
still
such a
power.
media circus this past, however long it's been, about 2 weeks, and just normie radio. Let's get live reaction from a local Catholic priest here in Baltimore. What do you think? And it's like, who do you have your odds on?
I know. I noticed it's in they all were like, if you listen to the media, it's like they were all pushing
Agendas.
these leftist popes, like all the
Yeah.
ones that were known to be like leftists. That's like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be this Tagle or Parolin? And you're like, wait a minute, how they're not even like front? Like, what do you mean? Like what? Like, it's like they just push shit forward because this is what they wanted. This was the outcome they wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that now they have an American pope. Now he's going to bring all these normie, dumb, bro dog Americans like, oh yeah, we got an American Pope, we got a President Trump in, and we're
I
going
think
to
it should have
take
been
over the
Pope
world.
Trump. That would have been the funniest outcome to me. Like, and a real twist, right, on the narrative. Like nobody would have seen that coming. Like,
I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come into
I don't
the
know.
Vatican.
It's probably not good audio, but it's still like a sore subject for me. But yeah,
well, I hope it all works out great for everybody
That
who
was great
cares.
audio.
I just
That
want
was
to.
great audio.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
let's see. Where do we transition from there?
Oh, Brandon is a Protestant. That's a shame. Nobody's perfect.
Brandon is a Protestant.
We can just have that as the podcast title. Brandon.
Brandon is a Protestant. Let's see here. Well, we got Big Mike. What is Big Mike?
This
Michelle?
was, you know what? I'm hesitant to
Big
even
Mike.
play this because I think it kind of got misportrayed. But Michelle Obama just kind of made a statement that made some people
Oh,
want to
yeah, this
edit it a
bit.
certain
Oh,
way,
th-
sort of question
she
certain
can't-
things. And I don't really support
she can't
this
fuck
narrative
herself
myself,
enough for this.
but
Please
I
find
don't.
Big
I-
Mike, I guess you can.
I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
play it, you can. I think it's a little bit in poor taste, but let's see.
Oh, this is awful.
All right.
That warms my heart, particularly as a black man.
That warms my heart, particularly as a black man.
It's
That
an unfair
warms
edit.
my heart, particularly.
It's an unfair edit because if we had the whole thing,
Was she just quoting somebody else? Saying,
No,
she's
was
looking for his perspective as a black man, the person she's talking to.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
her
she-
language,
I
her
get-
sense is kind of chopped up. But when you hear the whole thing, it's obvious. She's not saying it warms.
I wouldn't
her
say it's
heart as a
obvious.
black
It's not
man.
obvious until you watch it like once or twice, and you're like, oh, I guess she's talking about him. Like as you as a black, instead of saying you as a black man, she just says as a black man. That's not. This isn't even the video I'm talking about. There's
What's
a
the
video where
video?
she's crying. She's crying poor. She's like, do you understand how expensive it was to be?
Oh, that's a good one too.
That one. I don't know if you guys hear. Did you guys hear that video at all?
No.
I've heard
Crying
about
out.
it.
She's like, do you know that
How
we had to
expensive it
pay?
is to put all that fuel in our boat. Like,
Yeah, dude. Like, no joke. Like, that's what she's saying. If you look it up, like, she's crying poor, and she's a fucking millionaire.
in
She
the
was
maid
president.
and the 27 maids at our Cape Cod mansion want to be tipped. It's outrageous.
Oh man, I wish I brought the docs for that.
Let's see if I can find it.
So yeah, I guess we can just hop to this thing. So my friend shared this with me, something he found on LinkedIn. It's the Gaza border experience. So basically what they offer is a tour and lecture.
Get shot at.
It says, through the Gaza border experience, we'll embark on a one-of-a-kind tour and lecture of the Gaza border region, a magical part of Israel. You'll get acquainted with my home and natural surroundings and learn firsthand how the people of the Gaza envelope, whatever that is, continue to reside in the shadow of sudden alerts and unceasing attacks.
You can mow the lawn with an IDF.
Yeah. During this fascinating tour, I'll
Patrol.
convey the complex narrative through a simple and honest story, an experience guaranteed to be both inspiring and enriching. The Gaza envelope is more than rockets and terror. In addition to my standard tour and lecture, I'll be happy to offer you a personalized full-day itinerary, blah, 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 blah. Local wines, beautiful scenery, excellent restaurants.
Beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
What?
And
What
stimulating
kind of-
outdoor activities.
What, like you blowing up buildings for gender reveals, like the fucking IDF soldier did? You guys saw that video?
See, at
Is that
first I
real?
thought this was like an academic thing. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, but then they're like,
But look,
oh, wait
I have
till you
hosted more
see-
than 150 groups and families.
Wait till you see
My
the
guests have
water
included
slide.
ambassadors, U.S. Congress members, senators, chiefs of staff, a U.S. presidential candidate, Mr. Mitt Romney, and European Parliament members. NBA Hall of Famers, Oscar-winning actors, journalists, top CEOs, team building days, and student groups.
And
Everybody that has a
They're
Mossad
recruiting
file.
Americans
client
to be
list.
hostages for October 7th, round 2.
I mean, can you believe this shit, man?
what the
What
hell?
kind of sick person says this?
How much is it?
Did you go to the
Yeah.
website? Is this
Should
them?
we
When
inquire?
was this last updated?
When was it last updated?
Yeah, like what if this is like from like 2017? You're like, okay.
I mean, it's live on LinkedIn. I don't know.
oh, it's so cringe.
I mean, here's the website.
Let's go to the website. Let's see.
Yeah, let's go to the website.
This is the website.
Oh,
there's a
I can't-
video.
Cannot read
There's a
this.
video. We
I
got.
mean, I like wine.
I like genocide. I like
I don't
wine.
think you're gonna understand what she's saying here.
I wonder if they give you like a real estate like proposal where you're like expected to like buy one of the cleared areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Why isn't this translated?
Why is there? There's a bomb. There's a bomb. Scroll down. There's a bomb, right there in the middle.
Oh, there we go.
She said there was not just all bombs. And what is that? Do you get to make your own bomb to fling in and kill people with? It's
I'm
one of those
guessing that's one that was
arts and
launched
craft
at them.
projects.
That's far out.
Yeah.
I mean, so like people can be like all proud of what they're doing. I guess they're how they're taking it away from Palestinians and
Yeah, it's like look how we're transforming this land possessed by heathens.
This is part of the Greater Israel Project. You can see it firsthand.
The Greater Israel
that's what they should call it. Make Israel greater again movement. That's what they're talking about.
Yes, man.
This is so fucked up. Like who? Like.
I'm surprised they
Man.
allow. Well, I'm surprised they. I mean, they have to have intelligence ties for them to do tours. I mean, come on now. they don't just
tours
let
with, like,
anybody.
Mitt Romney. Yeah, I mean, they're not just.
Yeah.
Romney's actually going to some random place in Israel.
Yeah, think about it. Like, oh, they're bragging about like celebrities and whatnot. Like I said, they probably have files on all these people. So then they go back
Like
and just
they're
talk
all,
about.
they're all approached by
Oh, well, let
underage
me-
prostitutes.
Yeah,
you know,
let me
like-
tell you what's really going on in Gaza. So you can. It's just narrative.
Well, it's the whole what's his name? The Douglas.
Oh,
Why do I keep forgetting his name? The
guy
dude that Dave Smith debated.
like
Oh, yeah.
dunked on.
Yeah,
He was an
not even
intelligent
debated,
asset.
dunked
Never
on.
been?
Yeah, that you never been? Like he probably went on that tour. Like he probably was on that tour. They're like, oh look, Gaza's doing fine. Like,
Yeah,
like
never
they've
leave
got
wine.
wineries. They've got
Yeah,
They don't let just like
got wineries.
anybody in. You have
the
to.
water slide.
Haven't you been and seen the
Yeah.
wineries? How can you even talk about this place?
Wait. Oh, man. There's a funny joke I want to make, but I can't think of the term. Shit. Oh, yeah. You were like, what if it's a paraglide tour?
Hi,
Let's get everyone shout Allah Akbar.
That's
That'd be great.
I mean, yep. And
Yeah.
Hey, did you see?
Dude,
Well,
how-
you know, I don't know if it's. I guess it's kind of good news. Is that Trump surrendered to the Houthis? Did you hear this?
yeah,
Like, I mean, Trump spun it in a totally like, look how great a way he is. But then what actually happened? Trump spun it as like they don't want to fight anymore, and we're gonna let them live, right? We're gonna stop
so
bombing
scared.
them.
Top Houthi official tells drop site Yemen will cease attacks on U.S. ships if Trump halts bombing.
And Trump agreed, right? Like they got their way. They stopped the bombing.
Yeah, but the only reason they attacked in the first place was in solidarity with the Palestinians. So now it's kind of like, are they selling out Palestinians? Like,
No,
every
they're
other
still,
Middle
they're
Eastern
still
nation has?
active against Israelis. They're not going to stop their action against Israel.
oh,
Only
Okay,
U.S.
yeah.
ships. So they're
does that
still.
include the USS Liberty?
But
Or is that
I
still-
thought that was
that-
pretty. I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, and the way that each side like spins it a different way. But basically, they both agreed, like, okay, we'll stop attacking you if you stop attacking us. But I think the big shift is suddenly Trump is not going to war for Israel at this particular moment.
And the fact, like, just recently, just past, what was it, 2 weeks ago, it was revealed that, Iran was talking about, like, oh, the nuclear programs in Israel floated like a plan to go to war, and apparently the Trump administration was like, no, we're not doing this. So I don't know. The Greater Israel Project, they want to go full steam ahead with their plans, but it seems like maybe cooler heads are prevailing. But it also could be, Baz, when I was just thinking about it, maybe it's because it has to do with the tariffs. I mean, you figure, like, you look at all the commercial shipping routes that have been diverted and not going through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea. This might have to, as far as global shipping, like, look, we need to cut a deal. We need to squash this. Israel, regardless, we need to, like, maintain the the shipping channels. I don't know.
That's a good
Just
point.
throwing that out there.
Oh, there's another related story we have about those fighter planes that keep falling into the sea.
No.
See that? Like, I think this is the real like Houthi strategy. It, like, you just sit there and you wait for the U.S. to drive off the end and like not use the parking brake and like drive into the ocean.
And we're starting with breaking news tonight. CNN
Breaking.
reports another fighter jet from the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier has been lost in the Red Sea. You are looking at video previously shot of the Truman. The FA-18 Super Hornet is the second jet lost from the carrier in just over a week. In that previous incident, one sailor was hurt. Now, as far as tonight, details are still coming in, but CNN
How much
reports
does
some
it cost
kind of
to
arresting gear
manufacture one of those?
Wait, hang on. There's
500
one-
million or something.
There's one more bit of info at the end of the video.
Failure as the jet was trying to land. The pilot and weapons systems officer had to eject and were recovered by a rescue helicopter, and both reportedly suffered minor injuries. The jet has not been recovered. Now, Houthi rebels backed by Iran have been targeting U.S. warships in the Red Sea, including the Truman in recent months. But it's unclear if tonight's incident has any relation to an attack. The investigation, meanwhile, is ongoing, and we will keep you updated as details come in. More on Wavy.com and on Wavy News 10 today.
They're
Were they
literally
female
not
pilots?
sure if the Houthis were involved in that. Like, I mean,
67 to 73 million for an F-18, according to
How much? How much?
67 to 73 million, depending.
Nice. Just dump that in the ocean.
Yep. Just
Why
fell off.
not? They do everything else.
Just fell off. Just rolled off.
right.
Yeah.
So at this rate, the Houthis can just like every month, a couple more will fall into the sea, like, and eventually they win.
They should just be fetching them out somehow.
You'd think. Remember how they used to like freak out whenever they had like enemy, like because they thought like the enemy was going to take their ships and stuff, and then
Oh, like the
then
Black
after
Hawk Down
Afghanistan-
thing.
Yeah, but then
Isn't
after
that the thing?
Afghanistan, like they're like, screw it, you can all have our technology.
Have it.
We're just gonna,
Just
all right,
take
we're just
it.
gonna make
Yeah.
more. We're just gonna make more. Who cares?
Well,
It's
that's
actually
because their
better-
shit's not that good anymore. I think that's what it really is. Because like some people are making fun of like evidently the United States military doesn't have these supersonic missiles that the quote unquote enemies have. So like theoretically, like Iran could have more devastating weapons than the U.S. And Russia definitely has these. So who knows? Maybe they're just like they're. You know what? Maybe we really don't want to take on these people because it's not like they literally lose every single war. So
Yeah, that's
Maybe
geez.
leave the-
Yeah, just
maybe-
2 planes. Just just a couple, over 100 million. Just
It's
fell
like
into the
it
ocean.
just go, it
I'm
just
glad my
goes to,
taxes
like,
went to the bottom of the ocean.
right. Yeah, exactly. And it also goes to the thing of like what was the guy Walls or whatever was using an Israeli app to spy on Trump's cabinet essentially. Like we used to call them spies, and now he's just like, oh, silly. He's just trying to talk to the Israelis. Like, what's the wrong?
Are
with
you
that?
noticing, Otto? Are you
No,
noticing?
I've
no, this
noticed
is
that.
You've
well,
been
no, you're
noticing?
mentioning an important story though, but I think you need to give more details.
Yeah, we did. All right, why don't you guys do? I don't have. I can barely remember the guy's name. I think was it Walls? Tim Walls? or-
not Tim Walls, Mike
Mike
Waltz.
Waltz.
Not jazz
Mike-
hands walls.
He was
Mike
the
Waltz.
guy on the Signal chat that accidentally got the Atlantic reporter's number sucked into his chat somehow.
Just an
Nobody
accident.
knows. Totally wasn't in his phone book because he's a total enemy of Trump.
Yeah, and on
turns out
top of that, it turns out that so they were using this app called Telemessage, which was basically like a fork, a different version of Signal, and a much less secure version of Signal, where basically the Israeli company, can access the plain text chat logs. So like the whole thing with Signal is that it's end-to-end encryption, and as it's getting sent across the network, it's encrypted, and it only becomes unencrypted when you receive it on your phone, right? Like that's kind of the whole point of the thing. But, and I mean, this is pretty like heady shit here, but basically the gist I think is that the Israeli company was actually able to access these text logs, and in fact, they also had it rigged up. I think it's on this same website where it was actually sending the messages to email. So like
greatest
to like just
ally?
a fucking like Gmail account.
What?
So
That guy's called a traitor. Like that's
Yeah.
this is called being a spy.
So he's no longer like the national security guy anymore. He was ejected from the
Thankfully got fired.
cabinet,
But
and
they'll
now
pull
he's
another one. Another
UN ambassador.
right. Shit, you talk about the church moving people and transfer them. Like shit. Apparently, that's what we do in the government. You can be a spy, traitor. Just move.
Well,
you're an ambassador.
I'm surprised
now.
he isn't just in the private sector working for Raytheon or something.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But this app is kind of interesting because I really wish I knew like the history about it, because it's kind of like, why would you have something like Signal, right? But maybe let's just say you want to have a central control, but you want the end users, you want to be the only one monitoring what's going on. So it might be your politician that you bought. It might be the blackmail person. It might be these small groups of people, right, that have to communicate covertly, but like the boss wants to keep an eye on what's going on at the company, so to speak.
Pretty much.
Right. And instead of using regular Signal, where then employees could be doing anything out there, and like, we don't know what they're doing, right? Like, how do you threaten and leverage people if you don't know what if you don't see everything they say?
So wait a minute. So okay, so let me clarify this. So this was also is this the same app where the conversations about the war plans were going on, or was that actual Signal, or did they think
No,
they were
that's
an
this
actual
app.
Signal?
This app, which is fake Signal, basically created by this Israeli company, was the one being used to discuss these war crimes. So on top of all the shit that happened, it also turns out that Telemessage, which is the company, they actually got hacked. They actually got hacked too. So like the actual logs are exposed. So anybody can just read any of the logs of any of the conversations.
Sure, the same connected story, and that wasn't a different app and a different conversation that this modified version was in.
So
it's a pretty serious accusation when you start thinking that like they're all using an Israeli app that's compromised by Israel, including the Atlantic Reporter. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it is the same. It is the same app that was being used. Yeah.
Scott says, I think the app was a wrapper for Signal, and it would send the unencrypted messages to a server.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So then,
and that server was hosted on AWS by an Israeli company. And was hacked, apparently.
So Tulsi Gabbard is a retard who thinks that this app was Signal, or did they think that were they told this was this is even more secure than Signal? Do you think that?
Yeah. I mean, well, look, these are all fucking mostly boomers, right? I mean, some of them are younger guys, but like a lot of them are boomers. It was called TMSGNL, and it was I mean, they probably told them like, yeah, this is just a more secure version, like a FedRAMP version. FedRAMP is what you have to use whenever you're doing like shit with the federal government. A FedRAMP version of Signal. And just installed on your phone and everything's hunky-dory.
All right. Then
why, though?
If that's the case, so that would explain how this guy, he wasn't on the messages then. He wasn't on the messages.
Well, he might have been on the messages.
Them. I don't think so. I don't think he was in that group. I think that just got leaked to him, and that was their
so
he was in on it because they didn't want to leak the fact that this was an Israeli Signal app. Essentially, they wanted to make it, and the only way you can do that is to say, "Oh, well, he was in the group as someone else. We just didn't think so." That would explain all of that if that's the case.
I mean, Scott points out a good point, though. He thinks the selling point is complying with record keeping because, yes, theoretically, all the government conversations have to be. Yeah, it's not FedRAMP, but I'm just saying, like, they could have been told that, but
they have special federally issued apps for that purpose. What this tells me is that they want to keep a record for the boss and for their internal record keeping, but they want to keep it separate from federal records, or they just use the government issued app. They're only going to use an app, whether it's Signal or modified Signal, when they're specifically trying to avoid FOIA things and public information in general. So, I just feel like that if it was that, like, the Mossad types should be a little bit better at like blackmail tech than this. Like,
they're so brazen. They just don't care anymore. All right. Well, why don't we take this over to the after hours right now? Because we could talk about, like, we get so much to talk about, especially like yelling the N-word at young little kids and all that stuff.
You didn't.
You'll have to check out the after hours to find out.
That's
so
the only
let's,
safe
let's
place
do
for this
that.
kind of a conversation.
Oh yeah. Let's see if we can get that one kicked off Facebook or off of YouTube. But anyway, so let's head over there to our Patreon exclusive episode in the Overflow Room, which we're going to record right after this. And to get access to that, go over to our Patreon, sign up for as little as $3 a month, and you get access to the Overflow Room. But then you also get a live link. You get to come in and listen to, you get to come in. What does the president say? Jared, help me remind. What does the president say?
What does he say? He says,
Former president. Oh, come on.
I'm going to come to the overflow room.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. So yes, so you get to come in the Overflow Room live with us and listen to us banter back and forth, and you get access to the back catalog episodes too. And if you don't like using Patreon, you can also find other ways to donate to the show over at prlfans.com. There's also t-shirts for sale over at libertariancountry.com. Use the code PRL or PRL Podcast and get a 10% discount, or spend $50 or more and get a 20% discount with the code PRL2. So until next time, live free
or die.